Welcome to the first meeting of your Next Level group. Thanks so much for being part of this 6-week event. It's incredible to know that hundreds of people are meeting online all over the South Bay this week to study the same ideas, talk about the same topics, and grow closer to God together. One of the primary goals of the Next Level group experience is for you to get a chance to feel what it's like to discuss important topics with other people who are pursuing Jesus. We may all be in different places on that journey with different levels of spiritual experience, but we want this to be a safe place to discover that life is best done in relationships. Today's topic is faith, and we're going to be looking into how having an identity rooted in faith in God's love can be helpful not only to us, but to other people. Identity, who we think we are, is a tricky topic that we each wrestle with. I remember that a very low point for me in my sense of identity was during middle school. In middle school, I didn't know who I was, how I was supposed to live, or what my place was in connection with the world around me. I wasn't a bad kid, but I had just lived my whole life going through the motions, doing what other people expected of me. The biggest example of that was during middle school. I found myself involved with a lot of sports. I played baseball and soccer and basketball. I was on the track team even. I wasn't a terrible athlete, but I certainly wasn't great. One basketball game really sticks out for me in my mind. For some reason, our team was hosting a basketball game during the school day in our home gym, and the entire middle school was invited to forego classes that afternoon and attend the game in our gym. Now, I usually played on the B team, so I wasn't going to be able to play, but for some reason, I was invited that day to play on the A squad, which I thought was really great. All my peers were going to see me play basketball. I was put in late in the game, and I miraculously got a rebound. Now, one of my teammates, Buddy, had scampered down to the other end of the court and was yelling. I remember him yelling, "Long bomb, long bomb." He wanted to pass, and I knew it was my chance to be a middle school basketball legend. So I chucked him that cross-court pass, just chucked it. But I threw it a little too hard, and it sailed over his head, and we all heard my dream of glory end as it went like gong on the far wall. That wasn't even the worst thing, though. The worst thing was hearing all of my middle school peers in unison pointing at me from the bleachers and going, "Boo!" I remember standing there thinking, who am I? What am I even doing? I don't even like basketball. Why am I subjecting myself to this? But when the next basketball season came, it was my first year of high school, I found myself trying out for the basketball team again. I was just mindlessly on this path. But about 2 weeks in, after making it onto the team, something switched in me. I had a growing up epiphany that I didn't have to play basketball. For whatever reason, that week I had reached the age where I finally was developing some sort of self-realization. I was finally able to grasp that I had a modicum of control over who I was becoming. So I quit. I quit basketball. I quit all sports. And I signed up for theater and choir at my school. And I spent my free time leading worship at my church youth group. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made. That was the season in which I learned that identity doesn't have to just happen to us. We can choose it. Now, what if we believed that important idea about our spiritual identity, the most important part of who we are? Because you see, it's not just our interests or hobbies that we get to choose. We get to choose how we let God's truth impact our sense of identity. And God says that even though we struggle and feel lost and broken sometimes, that we're His children, children that He dearly loves. That's the truth of our lives. Our lives may be challenging, but every single one of us is given the opportunity to answer the question, who am I? With the answer, I am a person loved by God. The impact of that kind of identity shift and what the impact it could have on us is impossible to overstate. Instead of defining ourselves first by our careers or families or successes or failures, rooting our identity in God's love offers us stability and hope that we would never experience in any other way. And not only that, if we all work together to adopt God's primary gift of love as our characteristic, we'd fill the South Bay with people who reflect God's care and compassion for everyone in the community. Today, we're going to take a look at a verse in which Jesus talks to His disciples about this same idea. We're going to see Jesus challenging His disciples to let faith take their identity to the next level.